Good evening, everybody. Thank you, IIM Bangalore, for inviting me to give the Convocation address for this year. It is indeed an honor, and I am very grateful. Greetings to everyone here today. It's a very proud moment for all of you. Hello to my good friend, Dr. David Shetty, the Chairman of the Board of Governors, members of the Board of Governors of IIM Bangalore, the Director of IIM Bangalore, Professor Krishnan, the Deans of IIM Bangalore, the chairpersons of all the programs, including the alumni program, which is very important, the proud parents who have seen and waited for this day to come, the family of the class of 2022. And lastly, the most important stakeholders of today, the class of 2022 themselves. I don't have to sing out the praises of IIM Bangalore to all of you here today. You know it well enough. One of our most prestigious management institutions in all of India, and basically throwing out top-notch alumni year after year, making not only the institute proud, but the country proud, nationally and globally. This has been an exciting year where all of you as students have had to work through COVID, had to achieve academic success in difficult circumstances, and have still weathered all the storms. You have come out fighting and ahead, and you are soon to become the alum, the class of 2022. So we are waiting to see more unicorns emerge from your batch, to see more distinguished scholars emerge from your batch, for more successful CEOs to emerge from your batch. There is great hope for this class. This is an opportunity which you have been given by the grace of God and your parents and your own hard work, and an opportunity which will change the course of your life. So if I would have thought somebody should have told me in my graduation speech when I graduated from Cambridge and Harvard, it would be, don't expect anything more from this world except what you are willing to take from it and what you are obliged to give back to it. So what you give, you have to give back to. What you take, you have to give back to. And this is a constant refrain that anyone who talks to you at your various convocations will tell you time and time again as an institute. Don't forget to give back as much as you took from the institution and the education that you have received for these past years. The next thing is how you plan to make your choices going forward. How are these choices going to be set? What is going to be the defining factor by which you choose to go one way or another? And when you choose your path, how is it going to be that one by one, slowly but surely, all the dots will fall into place? Many of you may have heard Steve Jobs, who said that when he dropped out, he took courses in calligraphy, and he is convinced that that is what he used to make Apple what it is today. What you need to make sure of, without any exception, is that you finally end up loving what you do. If there is no passion in what you do in the years going forward, you will not be happy, you will not stay the course, and the success that otherwise was in the palm of your hands will not be there available to you. It has to be a calling, as Indra Nooyi says, has to be the passion that sustains you. You have to be determined to reject mediocrity, and you have to be convinced that you believe in yourself. You know, everybody very often asks me that at the tender age of 67, why do I continue to work so many hours a day? Why do I not take a seat back? Why don't I take that chill pill and figure out that I can get on with other things in my life? Wise lessons and wise counsel. But the truth of the matter is, I simply love what I do every single day, or almost every single day. And it is because of this passion that I can sustain my career, which has spanned for over nearly 4 decades. And I don't want to give up the adrenaline, the joy, the passion that walks in with me as I walk in every week of every year. So I have found my calling and I have found my passion. And that is what has kept me sustained for so many decades. The same for you. Do not sell yourself short. Don't make choices that are short term. Take a calling, take a job without reference to the money. Believe me, if you love what you do, you will excel at it. And if you excel at it, money follows. And money has never been for me the only determinant. Important, a measure of self-worth, but never the only determinant. I hope it will be the same for you too. Look at what you would want to be 15 years from now. Think forward. Where would you like to stand in the firmament of your life? Where would you like to excel and be thought of as a leader in the 15 years to come? And prepare a plan that gradually and consistently gets you up there. The next thing, of course, which is hard for this generation is patience. You have to go one step at a time. Instant gratification is short term. It will not allow you to lay the bricks of your own foundation for a long-term sustained career. So be patient and learn as life goes on. Every year is a year of more accumulated wisdom. Every year is a step in the right direction to leadership. What is your vision? What do you really think you can do to make some difference to the world? Money is fungible, reputation is not. We all know that ultimately what you are remembered for is not your bank balance, but your market standing in the community in which you want to stand out. And that is only achieved by values, consistent values, and without compromising the core values that you have been brought up to believe in, not only by your parents, but by the institute at IIM Bangalore as well. You know, when I was in New York, after I finished my LLM, I worked for nearly 5 years with a global law firm called Baker and McKenzie. And that law firm at that time was the largest in the world. I worked there at a fat US salary, and then I came back to Bombay. And I came back essentially to get married, but believe me, if I was earning 100 there, I was earning 1 here. And I often used to struggle, not about the money, but really about how I could, if at all, change my mindset. I used to have a nice office, a secretary, a cabin, a view of the Hudson River. And I came back to a desk, literally this big, which I shared with my senior in Bombay and started practicing in the Bombay High Court. It was tough. It was not easy. Not only had I been completely torn from the luxurious environment in which I was carrying out my work in New York, but I was here in the mid-80s as a woman in the Bombay High Court with hardly any women, with a room full of 100 male lawyers while I was trying to make a point to the judge, paranoid about being proven wrong or saying something wrong, and everyone laughing at me. It took me completely out of my comfort zone. So this was a challenge I was not sure I would overcome. But as I want to tell you, my lesson in life was believing in myself, knowing that I would walk the extra mile and work the extra hour, being convinced that if I did the job right, somebody would recognize me at some time, and not letting go of my vision and my dream to be acknowledged as a good lawyer back home in my motherland. And believe me, it did not come overnight. It took years and years of persevering, years and years of being disappointed at times when you didn't win a matter or you didn't get the best brief for a matter that you thought you would be great to argue, but accepting that patience should be rewarded, and patience with hard work will ultimately be rewarded. You want to create for yourself a sense of purpose. You want to create a sense of lasting identity. You want to create more than what you are, more importantly, what you think you can leave behind, which will make the world a better place and make youngsters believe in you and rise up to achieve the same bar that you will set yourself going forward. Short-term passion doesn't sustain. It is the long-term vision that is needed for success. And so, as you are learning and you are growing and you have so many programs that the IIM Bangalore has offered you to be part of the journey for not only yourself but for all the other friends and colleagues that have been with you through the years. And keep an eye as you grow older and grow up the chain of success on all the youngsters that are going to be part of the institution that you are today graduating from. COVID has taught us many, many things. One is being adaptable. One is being able to change. For me personally, it was very difficult. I'm a very people person. I love to have physical meetings. I like to be looking into the room and reading the audience. And all that was not possible for 2 long years. And so I had to accept the hard reality in 2020 that I had to retool myself to be able to look into a Zoom or a Microsoft Teams and still engage and draw from that screen exactly what I wanted in the course of my negotiations. So change is the constant, and COVID has certainly taught us that change is going to even exist after COVID and the world normalizes. The next thing is personal branding. Don't forget, whilst everyone is walking the talk around you, you have to make sure that your reputation is absolutely at the top of your priority. As you move on, as you get a job, as you become a first year somewhere, it doesn't matter. You have to do the right thing, and you have to be known as a person who does the right thing. The reputation you have is only built with your constant commitment. It is not something that you can take for granted. It is something that can be wiped away in a nanosecond. If you have domain, that is the first step to reputation. You can't walk into a room and command the room and the respect of that room if you don't know what you're talking about. As it is said, you have to sweat the details. You have to know exactly what the subject you are gearing up to talk about entails. You can't be short. You can't say, I didn't catch the last notification that came out at 12 o'clock at night. You have to be, in my words, over-prepared. There is nothing better than being over-prepared. And the only cost to being over-prepared is time. I always say to all the youngsters who pass through our law firm, your biggest enemy is time. The biggest sacrifice you make in your life is time. And that is the only constant, again, that will keep on gnawing at you. To sacrifice time, to sacrifice things that you would otherwise have taken pleasure in, because without that, you will not be able to command domain. Once you command domain, then it is building trust. Trust in all the stakeholders around you. Today, I hope that I am not thought of as only a lawyer, but as a lawyer plus, as what we call a trusted advisor. I hope to be the conciliary of my most important clients, and for them to be able to reach out to me at whatever time of day or night if they need to bounce off a risk assessment or a go, no go, or anything that makes them feel they have been able to think better after a conversation with me. And that is how you will grow and sustain. You have to delight your customers. And believe me, once that delight comes through, for you it becomes addictive. What is addictive is the trust and the affection that your clients and your customers start placing in you. You have to be creating a reserve of values. You have to spread those values around. And the consistency with which you do that has to be absolutely ruthless and relentless. The importance of EQ as you move on cannot be underestimated. Collaboration is the key. If you are a genius but you don't know how to handle people, you have lost 50% of the battle. Today, as they say, there is a war for talent, as I'm sure all of you will be seeing as people come to pick you up and take you to their professional homes. The war for talent is on, and talent has won. And if that is the case as you grow along your journey, make sure you don't destroy the talent that is wanting to grow and be nurtured under you. EQ is imperative. If you have smart men and women who use their brains, you have wise men and women that use their hearts. Nothing can be overstated than this. EQ, EQ, EQ is what I tell all our young partners as they climb up the chain of the law firm that we represent. So, what did Einstein say? Weak people want revenge, and strong people learn to forgive. There will be many thoughts and many boundaries that you want to negatively reach or not want to really cross in a good way. Take a deep breath. Hold yourself back from those decisions. Sleep on them. Tomorrow, when good sense prevails, you will think differently. There is no need for a knee-jerk reaction. Always take a deep breath. Frankly, even today, I do that very often. If I type out an email that is a little harsh or could have been, abrasive, I keep it in draft mode. And the next morning, when I open it up, I say, I'm really glad I kept that in draft mode, and I change it. Be the person in the room that everybody wants to talk to. Don't be boring, be enthusiastic, be charming, but yet, whilst you are demonstrating your grasp of the room, again, as I say, domain, domain, domain. The next thing is resilience. Can you fail? Can you go wrong? Of course, who doesn't? But therefore what? Does that mean you think you can never get up and rise again? Of course not. All of us do, and so will you. But the most important is learning from failures, learning what you could have done better, learning how to overcome the silly, small or large things that you did when just a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, and making sure you put those learnings to work, not defending them and not acknowledging them. Which brings me to the last two messages, work-life balance. I know this generation is really keen on work-life balance, and I personally think I would have loved to have it. For me, there was no such thing as a work-life balance. I was P for paranoid, and every day I put in, as I said, those extra 2 hours. Maybe it was because I thought I had to struggle more as a woman. I'm a Baha'i by religion, and we are brought up to believe that men and women are completely equal. And so, vested in that belief, I made sure that I wanted my community, the legal community, to absolutely recognize that a woman could be as good, if not better, sometimes, than men. So, anybody who tells you that you can get everything perfectly is simply lying. There is nothing like a perfect life. There is nothing like a perfect work-life balance. Everything gets measured as to what you prioritize and sometimes sacrifice in the road to success. Lastly, once you achieve, please give back. Give back to the community, give back by way of philanthropy. Always remember, whenever you give, we are taught God is never in your debt. He gives it back tenfold. And therefore, leadership also means being a role model not only in what you achieve as a career, but what you achieve as a community citizen. So I will end by saying 2-3 things. One is, if you want to be successful, you must respect one rule: never lie to yourself. Be ruthlessly honest with your attributes which need to be improved upon, your leadership skills which have to be honed, and always test yourself, stress test yourself with the highest bar that you can put on the one person you should, yourself. So as you go into this world as the class of 2022, I leave you with a few messages which I have tried to follow all my life, sometimes not been able to follow it. Never waste time, never stop being curious, never stop dreaming, never stop wanting to grow, and never, ever, ever stop loving what you do. So God bless to all of you. I wish you all success, and we hope to hear all of you becoming great citizens, not only of our country, but of the entire world globally. Dream and let IIM Bangalore be proud of all the dreams that you make actual. Thank you.